This is the Transparency Podcast Show.
So for me, this book was a work of love for many different reasons. It's super cathartic. I wrote it in about 3 weeks. And the stories that I'm telling are stories of transmasculine individuals that are not told, while simultaneously telling the education of what it takes for trans men to actually receive rights. And
Mhm.
on top of it, it kind of gives a manifesto of some of the things and people that I've met throughout history, especially here in LA, and some of the untold stories, some of the heroes, icons, and mentors that I've run into. And especially, even where I grew up as a DJ at Oxwood, that's where we met.
Yes.
So I made sure to write about
Yeah,
Oxwood. And
Oxwood, because we mentioned Hamburger Mary in this show a lot, but Oxwood is actually the longest run, more longer than Hamburger Mary's at Jamie's,
yeah,
and um, I started Hamburger Mary, and then the second place is Oxwood.
yeah,
So kudo to Laura G. She's the one promoting it,
shout out.
and she do it like 10 years, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was about 10
Yeah.
years.
So
Yeah,
and then I was able to meet a lot of different people on the valley side,
yeah,
and I did some events for her too, and you were the DJ. So it was very community oriented place.
yeah,
Yeah, but too bad the location, I heard a developer bought it, and so that's why
yeah.
we stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually what I'm talking about in my book is kind of how the patriarchy kind of takes over spaces,
Mm-hmm.
especially trans spaces and lesbian bars. Because for me particularly, I mean, before I identified as trans, I did have an experience as a lesbian
Mm-hmm.
living through that world. And most folks don't know this, but the Oxwood was actually one of the oldest lesbian
Yeah.
bars in the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
It's where I learned my grounds as a DJ and community, and how I learned how to really be a part of the community in that way. And it was really challenging to kind of watch it fall apart in the way that it did, just purely because of finances.
Right.
I mean, I talk about it in the book. One of the
Mm-hmm.
highest grossing nights there was actually the trans night when I was a DJ. And that's when the bar made the
When I
most
was
money.
promoting. No, just
Right?
kidding.
No, no, it's okay. No, get your flowers. You deserve them. We
Thank
worked
you.
really hard on
Yeah,
that, and it
I
was a
like it. It was
beautiful time.
fun.
I mean,
Yes.
remember that? Like
Yes,
that
yes.
to me almost seems like a fever dream when
Yeah.
we would come out from the back patio and there'd be smoke flying everywhere, and then I would get into the DJ
Ooh.
booth and I would just play some crazy set, and it would just go from one place to the other, and we'd have such beautiful times there. And
Mm.
that's again one reason why I wanted to pay homage to a lot of the stories that built me as a trans man, while simultaneously really explaining to people what the patriarchy really has done to trans masculine individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Because folks like myself kind of get looked at as, oh, well, he passes and he's got a wife and he does this and he's done that and he's done that. And somehow I've escaped the patriarchy. But it's really quite the opposite, because
Mm-hmm.
I still struggle with it in ways that folks might not perceive. But as soon as I open my mouth and start telling you some of the things that I've been through, it all starts to click
Mm-hmm.
for people, because as soon as I expose to people I'm trans,
Yeah.
all that privilege just goes right out the window.
Oh.
People automatically, I've been talked
Right.
down to like I'm a child. I've been talked down to like I don't have 20 years of experience doing certain things.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I practically
Yeah.
came out of the womb as an advocate. And it's really interesting how this book, I hope, brings a conversation. And I wanted to design it, something nice like the Tom Ford book. So I put a little extra effort into it with the photos and the quality
Yes.
of it,
Yes. Very
so that
nice.
it really hits people and ends up on coffee tables and starts discussions about not just trans people, but people in general. And that's really what the conversation of the book is. I'm using
Mm-hmm.
my identity as a trans man as a vehicle to kind of talk about the intersectionalities of society as a whole. Because trans men themselves, I mean, we face kind of the shitty end of both sticks sometimes. We've got to man up when we got to, do
Mm-hmm.
things and have those expectations, while simultaneously we're told to sit down and be quiet.
Yeah.
And that glass ceiling that everybody kind of alludes to that has been crashed is actually twice as thick. I've not broken that glass ceiling. I'm still hustling as many years as I have been to make
Mhm.
sure my bills are paid. I don't have some kingdom to sit on or some great thing. I mean, that's why I'm creating the merch that I'm creating and the
Mhm.
books that I'm creating so that people
Yeah.
actually have tangible things.
Right.
But it wasn't an easy journey to get to that point, and it's a lot of
Mhm.
privilege even with what I carry and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering that I've been through. But
Mhm.
again, that's why this is really cathartic for me that multiple things are kind of happening simultaneously because for the last couple of years I've been through the ringer in a way that I feel like my ancestors' spirit, everyone was testing me and teaching me. I even have a new spirit guide that has been helping me, Blossom C. Brown. She's shout out. I want to make sure to shout out to Blossom because she's really been
Uh-huh.
speaking wisdom into me and guiding me. And I'm learning to be less stubborn, listen more and
Yeah.
and and just be open and receptive because most folks don't know quite the trauma I've experienced even showing up. I mean, coming
Mhm.
from a cult as a kid through Scientology and then transitioning
Yeah.
and then trying to be in the performance world and the
Uh-huh.
activism world and all of
Yes.
the layers that I have to face on a daily is just it's a lot of challenges and it's just nice to be in this position where folks are seeing trans men and really giving them
Mhm.
visibility. So